He has been one of the activists in a group of conservationists which legally fought in stop. He has been giving talks using his photography to all age groups of people, especially children and youngsters, to bring about awareness of wildlife conservation since more than a decade. He is a proprietor and CEO of Crystal Electronics Appliances, the exclusive LG showroom at Mangalore. His interests and hobbies are wildlife conservation, wildlife and nature photography, bird watching, trekking, camping and hiking, amateur astronomy, ham radio and motorsports. He is the founder member of Amateur Astronomers Association, Mangalore. His education, his schoolings were at St. Aloysius College, Mangalore. He has a BSc degree done at St. Aloysius College as well, and MBA graduate from Mangalore University. So, thank you for this opportunity.
I request Sri Rohit S. Rao to speak a few words on stage.
A very good evening to all of you. Namaskara. Today's dignitary P.T. Rajshekaran, Dr. K. Prabhakarachar, Shiv Shankar, and all the members of Sahitya Sangha Karkala. I should say wow before I start, because P.T. Rajshekaran left me spellbound. Not just because of the way he communicated, but at what he has done with his life and how he has put into action an aid to teach, an aid to understand. Before I start my talk, my regular complaint when I visited a doctor was, I never get the funda. That is, I don't get to understand what's happening. So the next best thing is, I call a good friend of mine who's in Mudbidri, sitting right in front of me with his camera. So I tell him, and then he explains to me what exactly is the problem, or how exactly this has happened or that has happened. And then I'm convinced, I wish I had one of your softwares and sitting at home I could understand more of the human body and how to deal with it. So, in today's world, we are put into such a spectrum of people. Initially, I was a little hesitant when Shiv Shankar told me that I have to address a Sahitya Sangha. How do I talk to people who are interested maybe in literature and things like that about wildlife? And to make my task more difficult today is, I had a speaker who has taken all the audience with him with a totally different topic. But then I realized, if you can communicate, it is very easy to garner, to gather an audience. So with earnest, I will try to communicate a few of my thoughts in the given time as to why we are here, or why I was called upon here today at this function, and what we can do to conserve nature and wildlife. To begin with, it's very interesting to be a bird watcher. I am an avid bird watcher since many years. What exactly is bird watching and how is it done? Pakshi Vikshane, Yenidu, Hage. Tumba simple. All you have to do is get out of your house in the early morning and sit in your veranda and just try to watch the birds. And within no time, you will realize it is not part of any wildlife or nature conservation or nature interest in any child. The little toddler here is definitely not listening to me, but had it been a small animal or a bird in front here, it would capture every single second of the attention of even a child. So, in bird watching, we put our first step into nature. Plants are beautiful, but plants don't move. But the birds, which are so active, which are so colorful, and which are so melodious, will capture anybody's attention. And it's so easy to get a bird anywhere. You don't have to hunt for it. You don't have to go into different national parks trying to spot a tiger. Birds are there. So, with this, we have got into a lot of people got together. The credit should definitely go to Dr. Achar and Shiv Shankar for bringing in so many different people together on a platform in the web, and then meeting each other and discussing a few things and going together to see these birds. A very simple hobby. You don't have to worry at all. You don't have to have huge cameras to go and photograph them. All you have to have is first interest, second patience, third an interest to follow up the hobby with maybe a bird book and a binoculars. Mind you, with these things, you can definitely become a bird watcher very, very easily, and this will spark off greater interest, and then this is how we get to know nature. Today, we have a host of problems in wildlife and its conservation. So I won't delve deeply into this, but the relevance of today's program of getting a directory was very interesting, because unless we know people of similar interest, we do not know where to start. So bird watchers, bird photographers, and just people interested in birds. I know people who are interested in the literature of birds. They may not know the species, the names of birds, but they are interested in the literature. They are interested in poems written on birds, on wildlife also. So this group will definitely help to get a lot of people together and make a platform so that we have a much stronger group, not just in pen and paper or not just on the keyboard as we say today, but also in action. Now comes the next step. When we say birders or bird watchers, we mean a specific group of people who are interested only in bird watching or only in taking beautiful photographs and publishing it either on the internet or on the print media. No. We need more than this. We need a set of people who are interested in birds, but at the same time in their environment which they live in. Because we are a part of this environment, and birds are the indicators of how healthy your environment is. If your environment is not healthy, definitely the quantum of birds or the number of birds around that area, the species will be definitely low. A simple example is, I used to see nothing less than 10 to 12 species of birds at any given time in Anakere. Today it is not so. Just before I came here, I stopped 15 minutes and sat on the banks of Anakere and thought I could spot only 2 species. Where have they gone? There is a problem, and it is high time we understand that this problem has to be understood. Now we'll come out straight away to wildlife conservation. I'll just introduce you to as what is wildlife conservation what are the threats and how are we as amateurs or as bird watchers going to get involved with this movement. The term wildlife is a very funny term. I could easily call P.T. Rajshekharan as a wild fellow. He has told us so, because without that thinking out of the box, we cannot achieve this. Similarly, wildlife for us is any creature which has not been reared by human beings. The small little birds which you see at Anekare is primary wildlife. You have not taken care of it, it is taking care of itself. Similarly, we have massive wildlife in forests. And Karkala being very close to the best national park in India. Believe it or not, Kudremukh National Park incidentally is one of the thickest preserved or protected area around India. You won't find so many species. And another feather on the cap is, it is the largest contiguous national park. There is no fragmentation. There are forests everywhere in India, but in Kudremukh it is the largest area without any gap. So being so close to it, it is high time that we know something about our natural heritage. It becomes our duty to protect it. Why do we have to conserve wildlife? Why can't we sit in laboratories and say, okay, I have a plant, I know its structure, we'll replicate it. Can we do that? No, not possible, because at this juncture, our knowledge is very, very limited about what the forest holds. We know that there is a tiger, there is an elephant, there is a deer, there is a prey species, there is a predator species, but the interlinkage of these species, very little knowledge is known. Every single creature is connected to each other. Certain seeds do not germinate until they go through a digestive tract of a bird. So, the huge tree is dependent on that particular bird. If that bird eats that seed and it goes through the gut, then only it will germinate and another tree is born. Just see the beauty. Here is a big, huge tree, so strong, but it can't move. There is a beautiful bird, and this bird will help this tree to survive again. Again, evolution, one is helping the other. So unless we conserve this wildlife, we cannot survive as the primary species or as the master species, as he said.